Good afternoon, friends, and welcome to the 2014 Masters Championship game here from Charlottetown on Bella Lion Community One, your 2014 exclusive webcaster of the championships. My name is Bill McLean, and we're about to have a lot of fun here. This is the Rusty Jiggers and the Cards. 2 games so far. The Rusty Jiggers defeated the Cards yesterday in a game that both teams just kind of went through the motions. Nothing was of significance. Both teams had to, or were already guaranteed a berth here in the gold medal game. Yesterday, in their one game that they did have of significance in the round robin, the Cards beat the Jiggers 6-2. Quickly 0-2. This is Joe Leahy leading things off for the Cards. A shot to second base, no problem. Actually, Finton Farrell misplays it. A rare mistake for Finton Farrell. The wind is howling here in the press box, blowing garbage lids and pizza boxes all over the place. So Farrell, the error, and at first base is Joe Leahy. And the coach at third base going to talk here to Don Kennedy. We're just getting started on Community One, the Masters Final. Seniors Final still to come. Leahy at first on the E4. In there for a ball, 1-0. Donald Kennedy, the center fielder. Hits one into deep right center. And out there to make the basket catch is Jeff Donaldson. The wind is blowing in from right towards third base. So any ball you see hit into the outfield is going to be pushed to the left and inwards. And right there, that was the case for Don Kennedy. He flies out to center field for the first out of the game. So Joe Leahy at first with the error. Second pitch swinging here is Dennis Monroe. Quickly 0-2. There's a good look at the starting pitcher, Tracy Woolridge for the Jiggers from Botwood. Is Tracy, played at third base, and they will get the lead out by Mike Hutchinson. Nice job by Hutchinson. They'll get the man at second base in Joe Leahy.
For the Cardinals, the right fielder, number 7, Robert Bernard.
So 5-4 goes Leahy. Dennis Monroe down at first base, and here's Rob Bernard. Robert playing right field, also one of the pitchers on this team. Runner goes into center field. The throw is wild towards first base. And trotting down to third, standing up there, is Dennis Monroe. So the Cards have a runner at third base in the first inning with 2 outs. Kent Campbell in left field. Jeff Donaldson in center. Bill Carson out there in right field. In there for a strike. Fouled off. Check that. That is Underwood out in right field. Ken Henry at shortstop, Mike Hutchinson at third base. Finton Farrell is your second baseman, and Glenn Dorrington at first base. Dorrington also a pitcher on this team. To second for Farrell, to Dorrington, no problem. Bernard out 4-3. And that'll do it for the Cards in the top of the first. They get no runs, no hits, 1 left on base, and 1 Rusty Jiggers error. And we're off to our bottom of our first inning here. Kent Campbell, Frank Farrell, and Ken Hendry coming up.
first for the Rusty
To the bottom of the
Jiggers,
first we
a
go.
left fielder, number 55, Kent Campbell.
And it is Kent Campbell. Wayne Fitzgerald on the mound for Sydney. As we expected, Wayne Fitzgerald, he took the morning off in that game that really didn't mean anything for the Cardinals against Coors Light. They still got the 4-3 win, our 9 a.m. game. And Wayne Fitzgerald takes the mound in the championship game. He got the first win for the Cards, a 6-2 victory over this Rusty Jiggers team. First man he'll meet is Kent Campbell, the left fielder. 2-0 on Campbell. Here comes your 2-0. In there for a strike, 2-1. Farrell and Ken Hendry and Jeff Donaldson, should anyone reach. That's going to find the hole on the left side. On with a single is Kent Campbell, our first hit of the game. So Campbell on board with a single between third and short. And now here's Frank Farrell. Farrell, the catcher.
For the Rusty Jiggers, the catcher, number 9, Frank Farrell.
So Campbell at first, no outs here in the bottom of the first. Here comes Fitzgerald. Unable to lay down the bunt is Farrell. Looking to sacrifice here in the early going. Championship Sunday. On a beautiful afternoon, well, not a beautiful afternoon. It's always beautiful in Charlottetown. That pitch gets past the catcher Leahy, and down to second goes Kent Campbell. So Campbell to second on the wild pitch from Fitzgerald. Fitzgerald working a lot with that mound out there. Might be having a hard time getting comfortable. Of course, these guys, yesterday, they all played on field 2. So now making the adjustment to field 1. All of the Masters games were played on field 2. The Cardinals did get to see this field in that 9 a.m. game against Coors Light. So maybe a bit of an advantage there. We'll find out. One ball and 2 strikes here on Frank Farrell. Just off the portion, and now a pass ball. Unable to squeeze the low inside pitch. Maybe got crossed up. Was Joe Leahy. And down to third goes Kent Campbell. So the Jiggers have the go-ahead run at third base. With just no outs in the inning. Your 2-2 count coming up from Fitzgerald. He'll step off. Time called by Farrell. Talking to Fitzgerald yesterday, Wayne Fitzgerald, he told me it was shortly after in there and fouled off down the first base side. But talking to Wayne yesterday, it was just shortly after the young lady got hit by a foul ball in the stands. And for you friends, again, who maybe were with us during that time, she's okay. She had 10 stitches and a fat lip. So hopefully she's okay. She's going to be in the park today. The throw is home, and out at home is Kent Campbell. A great play by Junior Gould. Ranging to his right, trying to score on the play, was Campbell, and he is thrown out at home.
The shortstop, number 13, Ken Hendry.
Farrell will go to first on the fielder's choice. That was a great play. One of the plays of the weekend by the second baseman, Junior Gould. That's high and tight. But Wayne Fitzgerald was telling me that he has taken 3 such balls off the face. Broke his nose once. There was one time he took it off and he couldn't feel the right side of his head for about 8 to 10 days. So Fitzgerald knows all about what it's like to take one of those softballs off the head. He's taken 3 of them during his career. That is a foul ball. Foul ball. McDonald tried to make the diving catch. And off his glove, it went foul. So 1-1 here on Ken Henry, the shortstop. A couple of great shortstops in this game in Dennis Monroe and Ken Henry. They can really field their position, and both guys bat third in the lineup. So both shortstops on these teams, main cogs defensively and offensively. The 1-2. Just low. Had the outside portion, but below the knees. And 2-2 the count. Kent Campbell thrown out at home on a beautiful play by Junior Gould. Frank Farrell at first base. There's 1 out in the inning here in the bottom of the first. Just getting started. Chopper fouled to the backstop. Joe Leahy, he's one of maybe the most athletic guy here at the tournament. He's just a outstanding, speedy athlete at that catcher position for the Cardinals. The 3-2 from Fitzgerald. Fouled out of play on the third base side. So again, the young lady who got hit by the ball yesterday, she's okay. 10 stitches and a fat lip. She'll be in attendance today. To first. Nice play. McDonald gets the lead runner at second. Monroe got over there to cover. So McDonald, a quick snag, throws the second to Monroe to get Frank Farrell.
The center fielder, number 43, Jeff Donaldson.
So Farrell out 1-4. Ken Henry at first on the second fielder's choice of the inning. And now here's Jeff Donaldson, the center fielder, batting from the left side. Lefty on lefty matchup here. That is low. Working our way towards the gold medal game in the seniors division. The Kelly's Pub versus the 3 Cheers Pub. Both teams from St. John's, Newfoundland. So it's an all St. John's battle for the gold medal game. In there for a strike, 1-1. High and outside, 2-1. Inside, 3-1. Fitzgerald working a little bit slower than when we saw him the other day. In that first game against the Jiggers, he was just about catching it and dealing. That's going to get past Bernard into left field. Taking a big turn at second, but staying there is Henry. So Donaldson at first with a single, Henry at second.
Now batting for the Rusty Jiggers, the first baseman, number 22, Glenn Dorrington.
So Glenn Dorrington. Dorrington was the opposing pitcher in that first game between these two teams and took the 6-2 loss. Batting from the left side, the big first baseman gets past, and now runners in scoring position with 2 outs. And Joe Leahy is going to go out there and talk to Wayne Fitzgerald. Trying to get on the same page here. 1-0. A couple times it looked like Leahy got crossed up. On those 2 pass balls, he was set up outside, and the pitch came swinging across inside. The 1-0. off the foot of Fitzgerald. He can't get it to first base. Coming home to score is Henry. So it went up the middle. Fitzgerald got the leg on it. I think it hit him in the shin.
Third baseman, number 87, Mike Hutchinson.
But I guess when you've been hit in the face 3 times with a line drive softball, a comebacker off the shin isn't a big deal. Went towards first base, couldn't make the play. So Dorrington at first with a single. And runners on the corners with 2 out and a run home. 1-0 in the early going for the Rusty Jiggers of Ontario. On the outside portion, strike 1. Down low, 1-1. B McLean Sports on Twitter, community1sports at gmail.com. Would love to hear from you throughout the game. Shout outs, feedback, let us know where you're watching from. High into the air and back this way. Just missing the press box. And out into the greenery behind the field before the parking lot. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Fitzgerald a strike away from getting out of this. Mike Hutchinson, the third baseman. Trying to get some early separation down to second. And shoveled across there by Junior Gould. No problem for Junior. So Hutchinson out 4-3. That'll do it for the Cards, or for the Rusty Jiggers in the bottom of the first.
At the end of 1 complete inning here in the championship game of the Masters Men's Division,
They send 6 men to the plate.
1-0 over the Chant Funeral Home Cardinals.
They get 3 hits and score 1 run and leave 2 on. And no errors on the Cardinals. So the Jiggers strike first. 1-0 for the team from Ontario here in the first inning. So B McLean Sports on Twitter, community1sports at gmail.com. Hope to hear from you throughout the broadcast. Let us know where you're watching from, who you're cheering for. You have any family members you're watching? Tidbits and information about the players. Love to hear it all.
Leading off the top of the second for the Chant Funeral Home Cardinals, first baseman, number 9, Kevin McDonald.
So to the top of the second, there's Kevin McDonald, followed by Junior Gould and J.P. Doucette. In there for a strike to McDonald. Swung on deep to right field. Going to get over the head of Underwood to the wall. And getting into second with a stand-up double is Kevin McDonald. So a double for McDonald to lead off the top of the inning.
The second baseman, number 24, Junior Gould.
Here's Junior Gould. Gould, Doucette, and now Mo Bernard to come up. Tracy Woolrich with a 1-run lead. In there for a strike. Junior Gould showed bunt, backed off. In there for a strike. 0-2 quickly. So Junior will be swinging. Here comes the 0-2. Just getting a piece of it to foul off a tough pitch, and he'll stay alive on 1-2. Junior, the second baseman, outstanding defensive player at that position. Back up the middle, great play. Tracy Woolridge holds the runner, throws to first, and Junior Gould out 1-3. So great play by Tracy Woolridge.
Now batting for the Cardinals, the left fielder, number 42, J.P. Doucette.
A hot shot on the bounce up the middle, reached up and snagged it. Checked the runner, kept him at second, threw to first to get Junior Gould. And now here's J.P. Doucette. High in the air and out of play, just past the first base side. A one out in the inning with the runner at first base or second base. Doucette swings over the top, gets a piece, but it'll be 0-2. In on the hands, fouled up, playable for the catcher. Nice play of finding that and locating it by Frank Farrell.
Now batting for the Cardinals, the third baseman, number 3, Mo Bernard.
And Doucette out on the pop-up to the catcher. That's not an easy play. That's straight up pop-up. Got to get your mask off and find the ball. The wind's blowing. Usually it has a pretty good spin on it as well. 1-0. Mo Bernard, the third baseman. Fouls it off the backstop, 1-1. Just off the outside portion, 2-1. It's cold, seasonably cool, if you will, here in Charlottetown. Game time temperature is 16 degrees. Change up just off the plate. The wind is blowing right to left, coming towards third base. 3-1. It's died off since this morning. It was really crazy this morning. In there for a strike, 3-2. And overcast skies. They're calling for sunshine today, but so far, as of 1 o'clock in the afternoon here in Charlottetown, we have overcast skies. The tying run is at second base. There's 2 out and a full count with first base open. High in the air to center field. And getting out of that and making the catch is Donald Kennedy. So Mo Bernard flies out to center. That'll end the threat. No runs come across on one hit.
No runs on one hit.
One left on base. No errors, no runs. We go to the bottom of the second. 1-0 lead for the Rusty Jiggers of Ontario on Bell Alliant Community 1.
For the Rusty Jiggers, the pitcher, number 4, Tracy Woolridge.
All right, so we're underway here in the bottom of the second. Here is Tracy Woolridge. And right on cue, we say hello out there to the Woolridge family watching in Botwood, Newfoundland. And they're going to be sticking with us all afternoon. Great stuff. The Woolridge family in Botwood. Watching Tracy here pitching in at bat now, and Of course, they'll stick around for that Kelly's Pub 3 Cheers pub game. Coming up after this, that's a 3 o'clock approximate start. So great to have the Woolridges with us. And, of course, Allie McDonald. Allie played 26 years with this Cardinals team and now living out in Spokane, Washington. So he's got the pot of coffee on. 9 o'clock in the morning out there in Spokane. Thanks very much to Allie McDonald on the email. It's a good one from Dwayne O'Quinn asking if Wayne Fitzgerald is from Corner Brook. They had a guy there for a long time named Wayne Fitzgerald out to left field, and J.P. Doucette ranging towards the line makes the play. So Woolridge out on the fly ball to left field.
The second baseman, number 12, Fenton Farrell.
So Wayne Fitzgerald, thank you very much. Or Dwayne O'Quinn checking in on Wayne Fitzgerald. I'll try to find out that for you. Hopefully get that answer as maybe when we get to our senior game. I know, Dwayne, you'll be watching that senior game as well. Wondering if Wayne also pitched in Corner Brook. He's got an 0-1 strike here, or 0-1 count on Fenton Farrell. Bill Carson, the DP, to follow. 1 out in the bottom of the second. Off the outside portion, Fitzgerald thought it was in there. 1-1. Corner Brook, for your friends watching from Ontario, one of the most beautiful places in the country. 2-1. If you ever get a chance to go to Newfoundland, make sure you check out Corner Brook. It is spectacular. Very mountainous, very BC-like for your friends watching from near the West Coast. The second, Junior Gould. No problem for Junior, of course. Makes the play easily. And Fenton Farrell grounds out to his adversary at second.
Now batting for the Rusty Jiggers, designated player, number 99, Billy Carson.
Well, here's one of here's the biggest guy in the tournament. 6'8", Bill Carson. Regardless of the Masters or Seniors, he has at least 2 or 3 inches on the next possible biggest player. Bill Carson, 6'8". He's a pitcher as well, playing the DP today. This Rusty Jiggers team has a lot of options at pitcher. They've got Bill Carson, Woolridge on the mound now, and Glenn Dorrington as well, who have all pitched well during the round-robin tournament. Press box a mess from the earlier broadcast. Pepsi cans all over the place. Foul ball goes flying in to the first base side. Oh and 2. In to left field, Carson, nicely done, J.P. Doucette. Broke in originally, but then got on his horse towards the left field line and makes the running catch to retire Bill Carson.
No runners left on base.
So we'll go to the top of the third. Rolling along here.
At the end of 2 complete
1-0
game
for the Rusty Jiggers over the Cards. Championship game coming up at 3 o'clock. This is Earl. This is a great email here. Earl Chesley. Earl, I hope I'm saying that right. Earl Chesley in Brandon, Manitoba. An umpire who's worked 4 Canadian championships and umpired a lot with the crew doing this game, watching as a fan of the game and the Blue Crew. Thanks very much, Earl Chesley, for that email. That's great stuff. And I tell you what a job these guys have done this week. Unbelievable, the work here that these umpires have done. And as we always say with the umpires or referees or officials of these various sports, they are always the biggest fans of the game. They're about as passionate about this game as it gets. And they fly them in here for these tournaments from all across the country. And they do this on a volunteer basis. And this week, then, oh man, they have done an outstanding job. So thanks very much, Earl Chesley, for that email. And great to have you with us from Brandon, Manitoba. I lived in Brandon for 8 months one year. Chopper to shortstop, and no problem there for Ken Hendry. So Wayne Fitzgerald
now batting for the Cardinals.
out
The catcher,
6-3
Joe Leahy.
for the first out. Back when I was an absolutely awful basketball coach, I spent a year working with Jerry Hemmings, who was, of course, the men's coach at the time at Brandon. And Leahy, first pitch swinging, he grounds out to second base. And Finton Farrell. So Farrell, no problem with that play. And so Earl, I'm sure you know Jerry Hemmings all too well.
Donald Kennedy.
And what a great time that was in Brandon, man. Some of the nicest folks you'll find around. They got a brand new facility there in Brandon for the Bobcats. Outside, swinging underneath, is Donald Kennedy. Up the middle, and Woolridge wished he had caught it. It was a hot shot, got the tip of his glove on it, but it kept going to center field. So Woolridge wishes he had made that catch, but that was a hot shot by Kennedy. And a single to first base. Here's Dennis Monroe. Monroe singled and was stranded at third back in the first. High in the air. And outside or over the bleachers here on the first base side. Karen Gelano reaching out on Twitter, cheering on the Rusty Jiggers. Great to have you with us, Karen. Rusty Jiggers fans watching from Ontario. Safe at second base. On the stolen base is Kennedy. So Kennedy takes second. Monroe with a runner in scoring position. The Cards trying to tie this game up. That is up the middle. Runner being sent home from third. He will score, and we are tied at 1. Kennedy scores on the RBI single from Dennis Monroe.
Now batting for the Cardinals, the right fielder, number 7, Robert Bernard.
So we're all tied up at 1. And here's Rob Bernard. Grounded out to second base in his first at bat. Bernard, don't be surprised if you see him on the mound should Fitzgerald struggle. Oh, another steal of second base. This time Dennis Monroe getting down there, narrowly avoiding the tag. The throw was there in time, but Monroe took to the outside and got the mitt on the outside of the bag and held on for dear life, and he's in there safely. So they're starting to run wild here on Frank Farrell. Chopped down the third base side, just out of play. But these are speedy guys too. This has really been one of the differences for this Cardinals team. The top of that lineup with Leahy, Kennedy, and Monroe, they are very athletic. So that's a lot of speed going down to second base. High in the air. Out of play on the first base side. And hitting somebody's Mitsubishi Mirage. Big dent over there on that outstanding economy model. Down to third base goes Bernard. Or goes Dennis Monroe. And a 1-2 count here on Bernard. tough at bat here as Bernard fouls that off. One and two. And out there to talk to Woolridge about his line. Is the umpire. This is great stuff here. Thanks for that question from Dwayne O'Quinn. Striking out is Bernard. For the third out, so more on that in a second, they send 5 men to the plate. They get 2 hits. They leave 1 on. No errors. 1 run comes home. We're all tied up at 2.
1 run on 2 hits. There were no errors in the field, and there was 1 runner left on base.
So Dwayne O'Quinn asking if this is the same Wayne Fitzgerald from Corner Brook, and Ali McDonald in Spokane, Washington, saying that yes, Wayne Fitzgerald is from Newfoundland and he believes from Corner Brook. So thanks very much, Ali McDonald, reaching out to answer that question. So Wayne Fitzgerald from Corner Brook.
And if you want some souvenir clothing for the national championship,
and Mike Tilley checking in with us from Edmonton. Thanks very much, Mike, on the email. Joining us, waiting to watch that gold medal game between Kelly's Pub and Three Cheers Pub. Thanks very much for those kind words, Mike Tilley. And Jose Gattro. Thank you very much, Jose. Appreciate that. We're glad you're enjoying. All reaching out on the email. Contact information again on the screen. Would love to hear from you throughout the game. On Championship Sunday on Bell Alliant Community 1. Getting ready for what should just be an absolute dandy. Kelly's Pub versus Three Cheers Pub in the gold medal game in the seniors. And getting into one here is Kent Campbell. Goodbye! A Bell Alliant bomb for Kent Campbell. And it is 2-1 for the Jiggers. I tell you what, that is a blast because that wind is blowing exactly into the face of that ball.
Now batting for the Rusty Jiggers, the catcher, number 9, Frank Farrell.
A shot to right center, and it's 2-1. I mean, that wind, it's died down a little bit since this morning, but it is coming right into the face of where that ball was hit. So that was an absolute bomb by Kent Campbell. 1-0 on Frank Farrell. Farrell reached on a fielder's choice and then was forced out at second back in the first inning. So a 1-run lead restored and roped into right field. That'll be a solid knock here for Farrell. Takes a big round at first and then gets back to the bag safely. So Farrell gets himself a knock into right field.
Jiggers, the shortstop, number 13, Ken Hendry.
There's Ken Hendry. Hendry reached on a fielder's choice, came around and scored the first run of the game back in the first inning. Looking to sacrifice, can't get it down. No outs in the inning. A leadoff blast by Kent Campbell. Foul tips it back to the fence. And 0-2, now he'll be up there swinging. Hope you're enjoying the images brought to you by Universum Media. What a great job those guys are doing. That's a great shot. You can see the condominium buildings in behind the Sud Zone. Just a beautiful facility here. No destination yet for the 2015 Nationals. You could do a lot of lobbying to get the Nationals right back here next year. It's Sure, nobody would have any problem with having it here every single season. This place is just built for an event like this. Easy to get to. Not a bad seat in the house. A competitive host team, but as good as it gets. 1-2. Strike 3 called on Ken Henry. He'll sit down for the first out.
Now batting for the Rusty Jiggers, center fielder, number 43, Jeff Donaldson.
There's Jeff Donaldson. He singled and was stranded at second base back in the first. 1-for-1 is Donaldson. First pitch swinging high in the air. Dennis Monroe is there. He'll take it. And Donaldson out on the pop fly to shortstop on the first pitch. Here's big Glenn Dorrington.
Now at bat for the Rusty Jiggers, the first baseman, number 22, Glenn Dorrington.
Dorrington stepping in from the left side. Off the glove of Fitzgerald. Monroe, a high throw that gets over the head of McDonald. Going down to third, taking a big turn, but getting back is Frank Farrell. He'll go to third. Dorrington at first.
Jiggers, the third baseman, number 87, Mike Hutchinson.
So that'll be an E6 on Monroe. Went off the glove of Fitzgerald and slowed down just enough that Monroe had to hurry the throw, and it went high over the head of McDonald. First pitch strike here to Mike Hutchinson. Hutchinson, the third baseman, grounded out to second in his first at bat. Just off the plate, 1-1. A chopper, Monroe, and couldn't get the ball out of his glove. He had a play at second base. Dorrington doesn't move that quickly, and it looked like he could have had Dorrington at second, but couldn't get the ball out of his glove. And now another run scores in the form of Frank Farrell. It's 3-1. Dorrington at second and Hutchinson at first. So we'll see how that's scored. It's an interesting play. It was hit deeply to short. Definitely didn't have a play at first, but looked like he might have had Dorrington at second. Junior Gould was there ready to cover. 0-1. So a little trouble here for Fitzgerald. Well, big trouble actually with these two pitchers on the mound and both teams having a good stock of guys who can deal. Runs are going to be at a premium. Change up. Center field, over the head and to the wall. Dorrington comes home to score. Hutchinson chugs home and scores. And it's 5-1 for the Rusty Jiggers. Got over the head of the center fielder, Donald Kennedy.
Now batting for the Rusty Jiggers, the second baseman, number 12, Vinton Farrell.
A 2 RBI double for Tracy Warridge. So the pitcher helping his own cause here. The 2 RBI double. Five to 1, and here's Vinton Farrell. 2 outs in the inning. In there for a strike. Dwayne O'Quinn checking in. The Cardinals from Sydney. Oh, 2. And a shout out to Fitzy. The 0-2. In on the hands, fouled off out of play. Tough pitch there. Fouled off by Vinton Farrell. Bill Carson would follow. Should Farrell reach. We're in the bottom of the third. Back to Fitzgerald to first, and that'll do it for the Rusty Jiggers in the third inning. But they send 8 men to the plate. A leadoff home run for Kent Campbell.
There was one error in the field and
One error.
left on base.
4 hits, 1 left on base.
3 complete innings in the Masters Division Championship game. The Rusty Jiggers lead the Cardinals by a score of 5-1.
A single by Frank Farrell, and then 2 outs, and then Glenn Dorrington and Mike Hutchinson came home to score on a 2 RBI double by Tracy Woolridge. And it's 5-1 for the Rusty Jiggers as we head to the top of the fourth. So to the top of the fourth we go, and here's Kevin McDonald, the first baseman. Kevin had a double and was stranded back in the second. Led off the inning with a double, but did not go any further. Down low. Woolridge out there for his 4th inning. In there for a strike. 2-1 the count on Kevin McDonald. McDonald, Gould, and Doucette in there for a strike, 2-2. So Woolridge works his way back into the count. And here's your 2-2. Just inside, holding back is McDonald. And Woolridge not happy. I don't know if he thought that Woolridge went. And now Dorrington has words. Not sure if they want an appeal. There we go. So that's no, did not go. They get the appeal. I'm not sure if Woolridge was asking if he went or if he thought it was caught some of the plate. It was way inside. Confusion on the count. 3 balls, 2 strikes. All right, let's go. Your full count pitch. In on the hands and muscled out into right field there by Kevin McDonald. So McDonald 2 for 2.
Now batting for the Cardinals, the second baseman, number 24, Junior Gould.
That was a tough pitch. Gets it out into the short right. And here's Junior Gould. Junior grounded out to the pitcher in his first at bat. Swings at a high inside pitch, 0-1. The 0-1. Fouled off at a play. 0-2 quickly on Junior. Well, we're having a time here in Charlottetown, man oh man. A little nubber caught by Dorrington. Just off the end of the bat, Dorrington makes the play. Gould out to first base. And getting back safely is McDonald.
The left fielder, number 42, J.P. Doucette.
But we're having a time in Charlottetown, and coming up to 3 o'clock, your approximate start time for Kelly's Pub versus 3 Cheers. The 2-time defending champs against the Newfoundland champs. And it's going to be just a rocketing good time. Chris Abbott will have the call. We're going to have a whole bunch of guests coming by the booth. Your usual assortment of emails and tweets will be taken. Universum Media with a whole bunch of cameras bringing you the sights and sounds. So get everything ready to go for that 3 o'clock start time for you senior fans who are joining us early in anticipation. 0-2. And a swing and a miss. Doucette fooled on that one badly. Out on strikes.
The third baseman, number 3, Mo Bernard.
Here's Mo Bernard. Out in front is Bernard. So we got a battle of Newfoundland pitchers. Woolridge from Botwood. Fitzgerald from Corner Brook. Botwood, for your friends in Ontario, just outside of Grand Falls, Windsor, in the middle of Newfoundland, central Newfoundland. A hit out into right field for Mo Bernard. Runners at second and first now.
Now batting for the Cardinals, the pitcher, number 21, Wayne Fitzgerald.
And if you're ever in the area, go to Botwood. They got a beautiful water front area, and they got the exhibition for float planes that they used in World War II. And you friends and the Woolridge family in Botwood can correct me on that. I've just been there once. And I got a great exhibition of planes that were used during World War II. A beautiful part of Newfoundland. 0-2. Strike 3. Fitzgerald can't help his own cause. Gets struck out by his adversary. And he'll head back to the mound. So they send 5 men to the plate. 2 hits, 2 left on base, no errors, no runs. We're halfway home. 5-1.
Pretty much it's the Battle of the Rock. Team Newfoundland, representing Kelly's Pub, is taking on the defending champs, 3 Cheers Pub.
For the Rusty Jiggers.
Right here in Central Field, number 1.
B. McLean Sports on Twitter, community1sports@gmail.com. We're live and interactive on Bell Alliant Community One. Hope to hear from you. Comments, feedback, shout-outs, questions. I've got Chris Abbott right beside me here in the broadcast booth, and Kyle Abbott. So if you do have questions, I can ask the guys. On a overcast, cold day in Charlottetown. This is not what we expected. Unacceptable right now in Charlottetown. We were told by the Weather Network that we were going to have sunny skies and temperatures of 22, 23 degrees. But right now, as we get into mid-afternoon in Charlottetown, it is still overcast. Wind still blowing, and temperatures around 15 or 16 degrees with the wind blowing from right field into third base. Starting off the bottom of the 4th. Here is 6'8" Bill Carson. So Bill Carson will lead things off. Flew out to left field in his first at bat. There comes Fitzgerald. High in the air to center field, and settling under it out there is Donald Kennedy. Makes the catch no problem. Carson out on 2 pitches.
The left fielder, number 55, Kent Campbell.
Here's Kent Campbell. If you recall back in the last inning, he went yard to right center, a bomb out there to right center. And at the time, that made it 2-1, and they put up 3 more runs in the inning to blow this one open a little bit. It can be very tough for the Cardinals with only 3 at-bats left to get back into this one. Tracy Woolridge is dealing at the moment. In there for a ball, 1-0. Of course, a busy weekend in the city. They had the Shania Twain concert last night. In there for a strike, 1-1. Chris Abbott was there for that, along with Kyle, for the Shania Twain concert. 1-1 count coming up here. And they had the Fastpitch Championships all week long, and just outside 2-1. And of course, they had also had some type of political conference here, the Premier's Conference. Sports guys don't keep up too much with the news and politics, but apparently they had a conference. And has he done it twice? Nope, to center field, died on the track. Kent Campbell gives one a ride to left center. But getting over to make the catch is Donald Kennedy. Looked good off the bat, but
now batting for the Rusty
got
Tigers,
caught up in that
catcher,
wind.
Number 9, Frank Farrell.
But they had a big conference, and then, of course, you get the all the UPEI students coming back as well. They're starting school in Atlantic Canada this week. So you got all the youngsters and all the students back. So it's just a wild weekend in the city. Everybody looking a little groggy here on Sunday morning, early afternoon. Just low. On Frank Farrell. Farrell reached on the fielder's choice and singled. Scored a run back in the third. Three-0. Grooves one in there for a strike at the belt. In there for a strike on the outside portion. Working his way back as Fitzgerald will go to a full count. Out in front of home plate, down to first. Goes Frank Farrell.
Now batting for the Rusty Jiggers, the shortstop, number 13, Ken Hendry.
So Farrell at first, and here's Ken Hendry. Henry, the fine shortstop. Again, him and Dennis Monroe. Vacuum cleaners out there at the shortstop position. In there for a strike, 0-1.
Running for the catcher on first base is number 55, Kent Campbell.
Campbell will go in to run for Frank Farrell. That's a good exchange. A lot of speed there. Campbell goes. He would have had that base stolen, but fouled away, and now 0-2. Ken Hendry to follow should Frank Farrell reach. We got 2 outs in the bottom of the fourth of a 5-1 game. Foul down the third base side out of play. That's a great thing about that catcher rule for the offensive team. A lot of times you get a catcher on base with 2 outs, and you can replace a catcher who may not be that speedy with a guy who a little more faster. That's certainly the case with Campbell. He's going to scoot down to second. Was going anyways, but with the pass ball, he'll get in there easily. But now for a guy like Leahy, for Sydney, not such a great rule because he's pretty fast himself, maybe the fastest guy on the team. Down low, 2-2. Crowd continuing to filter in. Hoping to have a full house for that final. Hopefully a lot of folks. That's a shot down to first base. McDonald. Junior Gould reaches out to get it. But McDonald couldn't quite catch it. And Junior Gould had to keep it in the infield on a good play.
Center fielder, number 43, Jeff Donaldson.
So Henry at first base. Over at third is Campbell. And with 2 outs, once again, the Rusty Jiggers are threatening. But hopefully we get a good crowd. Obviously, the Fawcett's are out of the tournament. They lost earlier to the Kelly's Pub. But hopefully a lot of folks will come out and watch. So if you're in the area, make sure you get out here and watch the national final in the gold medal game of the seniors division. It's talking to the Softball Canada folks, they said this is the premier event for them. And you got the gold medal game coming up in the men's division. In there for a strike, going down to second is Ken Hendry. fouling it off. So 1-2. High and outside. Jeff Donaldson not enticed. Donaldson had a single and popped out to the shortstop. Swinging and foul down the left field side out of play near the vendors. And a bunch of parked cars somehow misses all of them and onto the street. 2-2. Junior Gould can't get to it on the backhand. 2 runs will come home. Campbell scores. Henry scores. And it's 7-1 for the Rusty Jiggers.
Now batting for the Rusty Jiggers, first baseman, number 22, Glenn Dorrington.
So Jeff Donaldson with 2 RBIs on the single. And here's Glenn Dorrington. Dorrington singled and reached on an error. Came home to score on that error. Well, Fitzgerald still soldiering on here, trying to buckle down against Dorrington. Fouled off by Glenn. Still lots of time for the Cards. 2 outs in the inning. They got to get out of this and get back to the bats. 0-2. The 0-2. Ripped back up the middle by Dorrington, heading to third and staying there is Donaldson. But Dorrington got all of that.
Now batting for
He's
the
at first.
Jiggers, the third baseman, number 87, Mike Hutchinson.
Donaldson's at third. Here's Mike Hutchinson. So runners at the corners, 2 runs already in, a 6-run game. And here's Mike Hutchinson. Grounded out to second, singled and scored. High outside, 1-0. High in the air to left field. Out there is Doucette and Monroe. Monroe makes the catch going backwards. And that'll do it for the Rusty Jiggers in the 4th. They send 7 men to the plate.
The Rusty Jiggers scored two runs on 2 hits. There was 1 error in the field, and there were 2 runners left on base.
2 runs on 2 hits, 2 left on.
Championship game. The Rusty Jiggers from Ontario lead Chant Funeral Home Cardinals from Nova Scotia 7-1.
A walk in the inning as well. And the big hit by Donaldson that scored Farrell and Henry. With 2 outs. A 2-out, 2 RBI single for Jeff Donaldson. And we go to the top of the 5th in a 7-1 game from Charlottetown.
Leahy.
In there for a strike to Joe Leahy, the catcher, leading things off. Reached on an error, was forced out at second, and then grounded out to the second baseman in the 3rd. So the top of the order for the Cardinals with a lot of work to do. They trail by 6 in the 5th. Rolls over 1 to down the first baseline. Foul. Emails coming in. Mike Goodrich from Hamilton, Ontario, cheering on the Jiggers. Thanks very much, Mike. Masters coordinator for the Ontario Amateur Softball Association. So we got the Masters coordinator for the Ontario Amateur Softball Association checking it from Hamilton. And really proud of the Jiggers. They're doing representing Ontario. Saying hello to all the listeners and hoping they can get the Western provinces involved next year. Agreed. Thanks very much, Mike Goodrich. That is into center field. And making the catch out there is Jeff Donaldson. So Jeff Leahy flies out to center field.
Fielder, number 29, Donald Kennedy.
And the Woolridge family checking in from Botwood. I did have it somewhat right. The Aviation Museum. Yes, the Aviation Museum. Logging, boat building, seaport, newsprint, hospital, all that stuff. From the Aviation Museum there in Botwood. It really is something else. Make sure you check that out if you're ever in that area. Just outside 1-1. Just past the pitcher. Great play by Henry. 6-3 goes Don Kennedy.
The shortstop, number 11, Dennis Monroe.
And here's Dennis Monroe. Monroe singled. Was stranded at third and singled and had an RBI back in the third. Shot into right field and just foul. About 10 feet foul down the right field line. 240 down the lines, 255 straight away center. In there for a strike, a change up and a beauty. 0-2 on Monroe. Time running out for the Cardinals. They got to get something going on here. That's going to find the hole between first and second. Heading to second base will be Monroe. Farrell knocked it down into left field or right field.
Fielder, number 7, Robert Bernard.
So Monroe at first. And here's Rob Bernard. So Monroe into second, a runner in scoring position for Rob Bernard. Rob grounded out to second base and struck out. Inside, 1-0. In the dirt, 2-0, heading down to third is Dennis Monroe. So Monroe into third base. Here comes the 2-0. On the inside portion, 2-1. Should anyone reach, we'll see Kevin McDonald. Chopper, foul down the third base side. Two balls and two strikes here on Rob Bernard. Strike three, swinging over the top, and that'll do it for the threat for the Cardinals in the fifth inning.
The Cardinals scored no runs on one hit.
One hit, one left on, no errors, no runs. They send four men to the plate. We go to the bottom of the fifth with a 7-1 lead for the Rusty Jiggers. They are run away from the Mercy Rule. So, friends, stay with us all afternoon. We got a lot of stuff going on here from Charlottetown. The gold medal game here in your Masters division. And then coming up at 3 o'clock approx, the gold medal game for the seniors. The premier event of Canada softball. The Kelly's Pub versus the Three Cheers Pub. Chris Abbott will have the call. Lots of guests coming up into the booth. Going to have a good time for that gold medal game here in Charlottetown. In our Masters game right now, it is 7-1 for the Rusty Jiggers.
Now batting for the Rusty Jiggers, the pitcher, number 4, Tracy Woolridge.
Here's Tracy Woolridge. In there for a strike. Woolridge, the winning pitcher right now, with a 7-1 lead. And Bernard takes over on the mound for Fitzgerald. So we talked about this earlier as being a possibility, and sure enough, here is Rob Bernard for Fitzgerald in the 5th. Just low, 2-1. Fouled out of play on the third base side. 2-2. Two balls and 2 strikes. Foul down to third base side. Tracy Woolridge, Fenton Farrell, and Billy Carson. Back to the top of the order should anyone reach. Busy day for Bernard. He went the distance in that earlier game. The win over Coors Light. And a shot to Dennis Monroe. He makes the catch at shortstop.
Now batting for the Rusty Jiggers, the second baseman, number 12, Fenton Farrell.
So a great play by Monroe once again. Now here's Fenton Farrell. Farrell grounded out to second, grounded out to the pitcher. To second, gets under the glove of Junior Gould to center field. So Farrell has his single, his first of the day. He's 1 for 3. Here's Bill Carson.
Now at the plate for the Rusty Jiggers, designated player, number 99, Billy Carson.
"6'8" Bill Carson. In there for a ball, 1-0. In the bottom of the 5th, the Mercy run is at first in a 7-1 game. Carson reaches out and taps it down to first. They'll get him. Good job by Leahy to pounce on that. So Carson out 1-3.
Now batting for the Rusty Jiggers.
And we'll go back to the top of the order.
Number 55, Kent Campbell.
Kent Campbell, 2 for 3, had a single and a home run. A solo shot back in the 3rd. And on for a strike. The Mercy Rule run at second base now. Chopper. Nicely done. Monroe gets over, taking a big turn at third, but he'll stay there. That was a tough bounce for Monroe.
Now batting for the Rusty Jiggers, the catcher, number 9, Frank Farrell.
Might not have had the speedster Campbell at first base, even had he caught it. And now the winning run at third. Frank Farrell. He's had a day. Single and a run scored. Walk and a run scored. High in the air. And nice catch. Right in front of the railing by the bleachers. And back to the catcher from the fan. 0-1. That will win the national championship. The Rusty Jiggers on a single up the middle by Frank Farrell, scoring Vinton. The Farrell brothers combining to finish this one off. The Rusty Jiggers of Ontario are national champions, winning this one in the bottom of the fifth.
There was 1 error and 2 left on base, ladies and gentlemen.
So Frank
Score at the end of 5 complete
drives home
innings
Vinton,
of the Masters Division Championship.
and that'll do it. 8-1 for the Rusty Jiggers over the Cardinals.
And the Champ Funeral Home Cardinals 1.
Well, Tracy Woolridge was outstanding.
The Rusty Jiggers, ladies and gentlemen, are the 2014
Only gave up
Masters
1 run.
Fastpitch Canadian champions.
They got a solo shot from Kent Campbell. A whole bunch of hits.
If
11
both
hits in the
teams
game.
are on their baseline, we are going to present the Subway and
And just kind of pecked away at it. 1 run in the first, 4 runs in the third. That was the big one. 2 runs in the fourth, and then the run here in the fifth for the 8-1 victory.
And present the Subway and Moosehead Player of the Game for the Champ Funeral Home Cardinals. 2, number 9, Kevin McDonald.
Kevin McDonald, player of the game for the Sydney Cardinals.
And for your champions, the player of the game goes to center fielder number 43, Jeff Donaldson.
Jeff Donaldson, player of the game in the championship match for the Rusty Jiggers.
Congratulations to you both. Folks, let's hear it for the Masters Division champions.
The Rusty Jiggers come from Ontario, and they are the national champions.
Now, gentlemen,
With the 8-1 victory over the Sydney Cardinals.
All the medals are going to be given out. All right, so stick around. And that's also a reminder for everyone else, ladies and gentlemen, that competition does continue here at the 2014
So the medal presentations will be after the seniors game.
With the championship game in the senior men's division coming up in about 45 minutes or so.
We're 45 minutes away from the seniors game.
Defending champions, 3 Cheers Pub. Like I said, that'll happen around 3 o'clock. So on behalf of everyone here at the 2014 Senior
From Mike Tilley, this is Mike Tilley sending a shout out to Kevin Quinn.
We hope you stick around, but if not, please drive home safe.
Thank you very much, Mike. To finish off our emails and tweets, thanks so much for reaching out to us live and interactive on Bell Alliant Community 1. You've been watching a live presentation of the network, the 2014 Masters Final from Charlottetown, PEI. The final score, the Rusty Jiggers win this one 8-1 over the Cardinals. They are national champions, so congratulations to the Jiggers and everyone back in Ontario associated with the program and fans of the guys. Great to have you with us there. We'll head back to Ontario as the champs. Thanks so much for being with us, but we are just getting started. The senior final is coming up. Kelly's Pub, the Bulldogs versus the 2-time defending champs, 3 Cheers Pub. That is a scheduled 3 o'clock start, so don't go anywhere. We're going to have a lot of fun for that senior game on Community 1. But for now, goodbye from Charlottetown.